Good afternoon. So, welcome to Distance. I know. So, look at these notes on Schoology. I'm not about to do these graph questions because it's going to be a little hard for you to understand them because we're not face to face. So, I want you to flip the paper over. Just put this on the side. These are the notes. This is the page we're going to focus on. We're going to do these 5 distance problems. Okay, it says find the distance between each pair. So, second page. Now, before I continue, you're going to need a calculator. You're going to need a calculator. I would advise you to use a calculator that is not your phone, your iPhone, because with your iPhone, you're going to have to do little by little, which is going to stress you out. So if you have a calculator like I do, or something else, use it. But if you use your iPhone, you have to work little by little. And you're going to have to turn the screen rotation off so you can rotate your screen horizontal or landscape. So this is the distance formula. D is equal to the square root. Remember this. This is the square root. That is the square root. Wonderful. So you're going to have x2. Okay. You're going to have x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. Okay? Okay. We're going to leave that formula up, but I'm about to erase this. We're going to go ahead and get started. We're going to start with question 6. We're going to have negative 2 comma 6, 6 comma negative 4. All right? Where my markers at? There you go. Okay, let me get my multicolors out. Okay. You're going to have your x1, your x2. That's 2. You're going to have your y1 and your y2. Now, literally the same way we did midpoint, but different. Same way we did midpoint. Plug in what you see. So, if we start plugging in the formula, the square root, that is a big long square root, right? Who is the value of x2? x2 is 6 minus x1. Two negatives, when multiplied together, gives you a positive. You got to put that square up there. I'm talking slow just so you understand. Okay, that square, that baby 2 at the top, that's what needs to go up there. If you don't have that square, your answer's going to be wrong. Completely wrong. Whether you have everything set up right, if you don't got that square, it's going to be wrong. So, same rule apply. You have negative 4 minus 6. Oops, wrong way. Minus 6 squared. Literally match numbers with the letters. So y2 is negative 4. y1 is 6. You have to subtract in the original problem. Okay? Now, I'm going to make a side note. If your first pair, make sure y'all can see that. Okay. If your first pair, okay, x1, y1. If your first pair, x1, y1, is negative, let me write that in another color to stress it out. Negative. If your first pair is negative, then you will add. I'm going to write in another color. Remember that. That's on your test. So, what I mean by that is this. You see how x2 is negative, right? You see how x1 was negative, right? And you see how in the original problem you have to subtract x2, you have to subtract x1 from x2. So you see how in the original formula you deal with subtraction. And your first pair has a negative. Two negatives make a positive. That's why I said if your first pair has a negative or is a negative, then you will add. You see how y1 is a positive number, so you have to subtract. So your first pair has a negative, then you have to add. So, let's move forward. Let's start with our x's. Actually, going to write that part down too. It's about to get long. Okay, let's start off. 6 plus 2, that's 8. All right? And remember, we got that squared. So we're going to write the square. Now we have, we're going to bring down the y's. If we owe someone $4, now we owe them $6 more. We owe them $10. All right? We owe them $10. Okay? So, 6 plus 2 is 8. You owe someone 4. You owe them 6. Now you owe them 10. Now, here's where the trick comes in. The square. This is not, okay, 8 squared is not 8 times 2. This is a big 2. This is a baby 2. This is an exponent. That's a base. Exponent. This exponent basically says you have to expand this base, which is 8, 2 times. So 8 times 8 is not the same as 8 times 2, because 64 is not the same as 16. You see? So 8 squared is saying 8 times 8. So if I was to have something that says 8 cubed, it will be written as 8 times 8 times 8. I had to expand it 3 times. So that rule will apply if you had 5 to the 4th. 5 times 5 times 5 times 5. That's how that applies. That exponent tells you how many times you got to expand it. So 8 squared is literally 8 times 8. So we already know that answer is 64. And we know 10 squared, which is just 10 times 10, we already know that is 100. Okay? So 64 plus 100, root 164. So the distance between these 2 points is root 164. That is your answer. Okay? That is your answer. Now, later in time, you will learn how to break square roots down. We're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. We're going to leave our answer just like that. Because you will not learn that until you get to Algebra 1. And I'm the geometry teacher, so we ain't doing that right now. Okay? So, that's how you do that. That's how you solve question 6. Now let's go ahead and attack the next question. We gotta go ahead. Now let's just replace the numbers. So we have 6, -6. We have -6. We have -3. That's question 7. Same rule apply. Let's go ahead and get into the swing of it. So we already know D, which is distance, is equal to the square root, all right, of x2 minus x1. So let's go ahead and start plugging this in. x2, which is -6, since our first pair has a negative number, well, since our x1 is a positive number, that means we're going to go ahead and subtract. And we're going to put our little baby square up there. Okay? Now, let's go ahead and focus on the y's. So we have y2, which is -3, minus y1. Oh, but I tell you, if your first pair has a negative number, you have to add, because a negative times a negative is a positive. Okay? A negative times a negative is a positive. All right? So let's keep going. You owe someone $6. Now you owe them $6 more. So that means you owe them $12. Remember, if you don't have that square at the top, that means your answer is going to be wrong. Understand? Make sure you have that square at the top or your answer will be wrong. You have $6 and you spend $3. That means you still have $3 left. Okay? Now, let's go ahead and solve this. We're going to have the distance is equal to the square root. 12 squared, which is the same as saying 12 times 12, which is 144. Okay? And we know square root, okay. We know that's 144. So we know 3 times 3, that's 9. So we know 144 plus 9 will equal 153. So we will have the root of 153. Okay? Now you may be confused on what the world is that? What is that in numbers? What is going on? I'm confused. Let me put it in decimal form for you, because I do not know that by the top of my head. So let me do that in root form for you. 153. So, basically saying the root of 153 is 12.37 units. The distance between these 2 points is 12.37 units. Okay? 12.37 units. So if you can convert all of these into decimals, you'll see how far it is. But because on test day you're not gonna have my assistance when converting. If you could put it in this form, fine. If not, this form. I need one of these 2 forms. Okay? So, that's how you solve this one. Now, let's go ahead and progress forward with question 8. Let's just take numbers out. Save us from rewriting. Take you out. Okay, and then we take you out. So while I'm doing this, you could all be trying question 8, because I know y'all have the notes. But if not, don't worry. I'm about to fly through this. 8. So we have 3, 1. We have 4, 0. Let's go. Let's go, y'all. Let's go. Let's go, y'all. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Okay, let's stop. 4 minus 3. Let's focus on our y's. Y2 is 0. Y1 is 1. Let's focus back on our x's. 4 minus 3, that is just 1. 0 minus negative 1, that is just negative 1. Oh, I forgot. Okay. 1 squared is just 1, and negative 1 squared is just 1. So you literally will have 1 plus 1. And 1 plus 1 is 2. And that's your answer. That's your answer. So, do that make sense? Yes, no, maybe so. If not, you know how to reach me. Call me, beat me, if you wanna reach me. From Kim Possible, if y'all haven't had a good childhood, remember that. That's Kim Possible. Okay? So, let's go ahead and continue with question 9. Call me, beat me, if you wanna reach me. Something well, something well. I will be there for you to the very end. Danger or trouble, dare the double. Something. Okay, enough singing. Let's go. We got negative 2 to negative 2. Then we got negative 3 to 2. That looks ugly. Better. Sharp 2. Wonderful 2. Remember. If you need to make a template like this, go right ahead. But let's go ahead and get into the swing of things. Oh, hold on, y'all. Do y'all see something? I see something. Do y'all see something? Okay, I see 2 negatives. In my what pair? My first pair. So if I see 2 negatives in my first pair, I already know I'm going to have to add. See? Just by knowing that one little fact, I already saved myself time. I see 2 negatives. I already know I'm going to have to add. So, we have negative 3 plus 2. 2 negatives. A negative times a negative will give you a positive. Never forget that. And then if you do, you better remember it for test date. Y2, which is 2. Y1 is negative 2. 2 negatives give you a positive. Thank you. So I know 2 plus 2, that's 4. 4 squared is the same as 4 times 4. And 4 times 4, that is 16. Okay? Slow down. 2 plus 2, 4. 4 squared, which is the same as saying 4 times 4, which is 16. Okay? So, you owe someone $3. Now you give them $2. That means you owe this person $1 more. So you owe them $1. We already know negative 1 squared is just 1. Okay? So, 16 plus 1, y'all already know that. Thank you, 17. Root 17. And so just like I told y'all, calculator, I need to know what's that in decimal because I don't understand roots. That is 4.12 units. That's the distance, 4.12 units. Since I'm saying units, because we don't have feet, square, none of that. We don't have inches, miles, none of that. So we say units. 4.12 units. Thank you. So, that is that for question 9. Where my black marker at? I know I put it. Oh, there you go. Hallelujah. There you go, baby. Now, let's go ahead and attack our last problem. Also, students, there are videos on Schoology. Um, there are videos on Schoology from chapter 1. So if you're not understanding these videos, you have other videos. You have a ton of videos. Okay. Now, distance, I want to just say distance, you may wonder what you're going to use distance for. Well, if you ever go into a career field that involves finding locations, you can use distance. You can actually use distance now. If you do longitude, latitude, you do distance every day. What's the distance from the school to my house? You know the distance. You can count the distance. You can count it in miles. This is just distance on the coordinate plane. So if you do longitude, latitude, that's X and Y. You can easily, there are plenty of career fields that deal with using distance, locations, and whatnot. And that goes the same for midpoint. You may not apply all of this, but you apply some concept in your head. So don't say, what am I going to use this for? Well, I'm teaching you is to help you find location. Find out how far something is from you. You don't want to hit the road and find out you got to drive 6 hours to go somewhere. Because who's going to drive 6 hours? Not me. Someone else driving. Wonderful. Oh, wait, hold on, Yale. Do y'all see what I see? Do y'all see what I see? I see. Do y'all see what I see? Do y'all see what I see? Y'all see what I see? I see a crazy person dancing. But y'all see me dancing. I see my X1 and Y1 got 2 negatives. And when I see 2 negatives, that means I need to do what? I need to add. Okay. Enough of acting like a crazy person. 4 plus 4. 2 negatives, like we already said, gives me a positive. Negative 4 plus 5. Negative 4 plus 5. We already right there. Time to keep moving. Choo-choo. 4 plus 4, that's 8. And from our other problem, we know 8 times 8 will give us 64. Okay? I have $5 and I spend $1. I have $5 and I spend $4. That means I have $1 left. And so 1 times 1, that's just 1. So my answer is root 65. I solved all of these problems with no calculator. It is simple arithmetic. Simple math. You can do this. Don't stress yourself over the little stuff. This is basic math. Don't stress yourself. Don't beat yourself up because you don't understand it. That's what a teacher is here for. We have excellent teachers. This is approximately 8.1 units. Okay? That is 8.1 units. So, yeah. That is the end of distance. Distance tells you how far something is from 2 points. Now, I will upload some more notes on distance. And also, a side note, just if you have not learned or know Pythagorean theorem, hold on, let me erase all of this. Pythagorean theorem. I'm going to abbreviate it. The a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Remember that? Well, you ain't going to learn it yet. That is the formula. for finding the side length of a right triangle. Pythagorean theorem. Distance comes from that formula. Alright? Because distance deals with a coordinate plane, your A will be written off as your x2 minus x1. The distance from x2 to x1. Your B's will represent your y. y2 minus y1 squared. Okay? This is going off a coordinate plane. Okay? So your A could be represented as x2 minus x1. Your B could be represented as y2 minus y1. Your C squared will also be known as your D squared because that's distance. So you see how the plus is in both? You see how I just rearranged it, right? So, the square and the square root are opposite of each other. They cancel each other out. You might want to remember that. Distance comes from Pythagorean. Not Pythagorean, but the Pythagorean theorem. Distance comes from Pythagorean theorem. Okay? Remember that. That's on your test. Distance Pythagorean. You might remember that for your test. On the test. Alright. That is all for the video. See you all later in time.